Welcome on into the final edition of the week here on WagerTalk Extra. I'm your host, Dan Alexander, alongside all of my great guests, reminding you, no matter what sport you're cashing on, that money all spends the same. We got a little NASCAR, a little F1 on the edition today. Also going to be talking some UFC. Andy Lang going to be joining us here, giving you a best bet in F1 action and breaking down the Wurth 400 at Dover in NASCAR action. And then Kyle Anthony, my man's going to break it down with a play for you in the main event for UFC this weekend and a fight he's looking to watch. He's got a method of victory play for you. So plenty of actionable info coming your way here on WagerTalk Extra. So let's get right into it with not maybe so actionable of information, but guaranteed to make you smile when we're talking Stenhouse Award. And what do we got from last weekend's action in NASCAR, Andy? Because I feel like it's been a while since we've been talking some auto racing.
Yeah, we finally got Formula One back, but we'll go back to last week. We had a couple guys really struggle entering pit lane, but we'll go with Tyler Reddick, who just came in full speed ahead, and it did not work out well. Locked up everything, spun, hit the wall, and ended up in the grass. I'm sure all the drive, and he did it with a bunch of cars around him. So I'm sure everyone else was looking at him, be like, "What the hell is Tyler doing? Like, what? Why is he going 4 times our speed?" So yeah, it was a funny moment, a little bit dangerous, but nobody got hurt. I don't like putting things in the Stenhouse Award that are really dangerous, where somebody could have gotten really injured, but certainly was a goofy moment. Tyler Reddick did not finish well at the race. So, yeah, Tyler Reddick coming in hot into pit lane is this week's Stenhouse Award winner.
Well, he probably knew he wasn't going to be anywhere near the podium, Andy, so he was like, well, I'll at least be first in pit lane. I'll guarantee my spot that I'll be first riding into the pit change here. All right, well, I'm not sure if you have anything as far as a best bet goes this weekend, but maybe just as far as the Wurth 400 goes at Dover in NASCAR action. How are you kind of going to be breaking it down? Do you have any maybe heavy leans as you head in, or just the way that you're planning on handicapping this race this weekend?
Yeah, so we're going to Dover, the Monster Mile. In these new cars, this is going to be another boring race. So you see, there's nothing to this track as far as aesthetic goes. It's just a 1 mile oval. This track is very, very hard on tires. It's very hard on brakes. So there is an element of patience that you have to show when the race starts off. You can't go too hard, too fast. But the difficult thing is we keep seeing with this new car is tracks like this. It is really hard to pass on green flags. Denny Hamlin has talked about it. Kevin Harvick has talked about it. Most everyone has talked about the lack of passing. And don't be surprised if we see something similar where you're going to need to do some pit stop strategy. You're going to need to really do well on the restarts, because passing under green just doesn't look like it's going to be a big option. You're not going to be able to make too many moves. So I expect to see some different strategies if we get some timely cautions, and look for some drivers and some crew chiefs to roll the dice here. I would. What I did was I took the average finish of Martinsville and Richmond for this year. They're not the same length as this track. They're not really the same surface, but they are shorter tracks that I like to look at and get a little bit of a feel who's been running good. And so the top 5 driver ratings, these are not top 5 finishes. These are the driver ratings, are Kyle Larson, Denny Hamlin, Chase Briscoe, Kevin Harvick, and Alex Bowman, which leads to one of the biggest stories this week is Alex Bowman. I don't know what it is with these Hendricks drivers. Alex Bowman is now out for a few weeks because he broke a bone doing something not in NASCAR. Now, he was at least racing sprint cars, so at least he hurt himself in the sport that he is. It just, yes, it wasn't doing NASCAR any good, and it wasn't doing his team any good. So now he's out 3 to 4 weeks. But the other thing you have to look at, Dan, here is Chevys have won 7 out of 10 races this season. 2 of those were restrictor plate races. Ford's only win was a restrictor plate track as well. Toyota won the dirt track and the road course. So when you're looking at it, all signs point to Chevy winning this week. This is a bet that keeps cashing. So I would say if you're looking at this track and this betting, you'll look towards the Chevys. The top 3 favorites are Hendrick drivers. Those are all in Chevys. So you've got Chase Elliott back from injury. You got Kyle Larson, and you got William Byron. This Chevy to win, I think it keeps cashing. The Toyotas just are not there. They're not competing for the wins of most of these tracks, and Fords don't look like they may have much either, unless Logano or Blaney really shows something different. So I would keep riding this Chevy to win. It's going to be a tough race to watch. I'm not going to lie. There's not going to be a lot of excitement, but look at the Chevys and possibly maybe look at Chase Elliott. They got a really good price on Chase Elliott to be in the top 5. He won this race last year. I know he had the broken leg, but he's raced 2 races since then. He looks healthy. He should be near the top, but I think I'll keep going with the Chevy to win as a bet here at Dover.
All right, so a little Chevy that we're going to be eyeing there. And I know the NASCAR betting, scene is definitely small but mighty. The people who do it absolutely love it. So hop below. There's Andy's thoughts on the Wurth 400 this weekend. Let us know in the comments what you're going to be betting. The Chevys may be worth a look. You agree or disagree with my man Andy Lang. All right, F1, as you said, Andy, finally back. And this weekend we have the Azerbaijan Grand Prix going on this weekend. So let's take a look at this course. And I want to hear, Andy, how are you looking to be betting finally the return of action here in F1?
You will not be able to bet Chevy to win at the Formula One race. So
yeah. I meant in, and then we were turning the page there. But Chevy would be a hell of a bet to fade, probably. If you were looking
I
in
cannot
F1
imagine
action.
Chevys are really keen on their Formula One. All right, Azerbaijan. Yeah, don't mix them up. You can't bet Ferrari to win NASCAR. So, all right, let's take a look at the Azerbaijan track. To me, it kind of looks like a baby's rattle because you've got these really long. This one stretch in particular is really long, kind of parallel running to the other one, and then you got this weird circle. This is a Red Bull track, especially with these long straights. Red Bull dominated last year. Max Verstappen won by over 20 seconds, and his teammate was 25 seconds ahead of third place. If we do not have any cautions or we don't have anything really strange happen, this is going to be a Red Bull romp for sure. The other cars will not have any answer for the speed that Red Bull shows on those 2 straightaways, especially that long one. So if the Red Bulls qualify up front and Red Bulls don't run into any issues, this is going to be everyone else fighting for 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th place. The biggest thing you have to know about this weekend, Dan, and this is going to trip everybody up, this is a brand new format this week. There is a sprint race on Saturday. So what you have to realize is Saturday is completely different from Friday and from Sunday. I'll try and explain this. What's going to happen is on Friday, they're going to practice on Friday morning, and then they're going to qualify. That qualifying session will set the grid for Sunday's Azerbaijan Grand Prix. On Saturday, they are going to run a qualifying session in the morning, and then they're going to race a sprint shootout, which is just a 17-lap, very short race, no pit stops, and that is going to be completely separate. It has no bearing and no impact on the race on Sunday. It is a completely different day. Saturday is its own different spectacle. You can accumulate points by winning the sprint. You get 8 points if you win. Second place gets 7, third, 6, all the way down to 8th place. So what they're trying to do is they're trying to make this Saturday really exciting. They're wanting guys to fight for points in the sprint race. So you have to know that Saturday is just its own little thing. So when you're betting on qualifying and you're betting on the sprint race and you're betting on the race, these are all very, very different things. So make sure you know that. Qualifying is different. They lowered the length of time in qualifying. They're mandatory. You use medium tires in Q1 and Q2, and you can only use softs in Q3. What is lowering the amount of time the qualifying sessions are? Well, you can't pit during qualifying sessions now in Q2 and Q3. So you got to nail it on your first lap. Your first lap has to be your out lap. So they're trying to spice things up a little bit. We'll see how it works out. I don't know if it favors any team in particular, but for me, it's just going to be, who can keep up with Red Bull. My guess is nobody. A couple of notes. I really would like to get some good matchups with the Alpine cars. They seem to perform well on race day. Last race, they wrecked each other. Hopefully they don't do that again. I also want to keep an eye on McLaren. McLaren had a double top 10 finish last race in Australia. I don't know if that was a sign of them improving or if it was just a lucky finish because we had some big names go out. And I think George Russell's going to have a big weekend. He had reliability issues. His engine went out. That's very, very strange for Mercedes. They don't run into these issues. So Russell is going to be extra motivated this week. He's got a brand new engine. I think they come out pretty aggressive. The Mercedes have made a few upgrades. We won't know how extensive those are going to be and what impact they'll have until we take a look at practice and qualifying on Friday. But I really like Mercedes. The double top 10 is a really good prop. And also George Russell, I think he has a really good race. Don't be surprised if he's fighting for a podium spot at the very end.
So that's how you're breaking down the event this weekend. Andy, we got a best bet for the folks coming their way in just a moment. But first, I'm wondering, WT.buzz/link below. Head on over to your page. What are they going to see locked and loaded for this weekend? A little birdie told me you already have a lacrosse play that's going up for Friday evening action. So what outside of that are they going to get when they get 3-day all access from you?
Yeah, we got a 4% UFC play that is up. We're number one this year in profits. We talked about how we were 2-1 last week, but we lost the big play. We're still number one in profits overall. We're over 60% for the year. We've hit 67% going back to November, so that's looking good. Lacrosse has been really good for us, so we're looking to increase that. We're still hitting 70% in lacrosse, and we've done really well in MLB, NHL, and NBA. We're playing those small, but we're just chipping away and adding units. We had a 10-unit day yesterday on Wednesday across the sports, so there'll be soccer as well. So it's a little bit of everything. Use a 3-day pass if you want to get everything. That's going to be the best deal. But yeah, we'll have a strong auto racing card for the weekend, strong UFC play, strong lacrosse play, as well as the other sports. So it should be a really good, profitable weekend.
So the question, what do you have? The answer, everything. Head on over to Andy Lang's page. And Andy, now you got a best bet for the folks. What are we eyeing in F1 action this weekend?
He's been one of my favorite drivers for a long time. And Fernando Alonso, we're going to take him to finish on the podium at -165. Why? Well, he's done it every race this year. Those Aston Martins have got to be the big surprise. His teammate, unfortunately, is a dolt and continually puts himself in bad situations. But Fernando Alonso is getting the most out of that car. And he is just faster than these Mercedes cars and the Ferrari cars. You never know what you're going to get for them. Sometimes they shoot themselves in the foot. Sometimes they're getting into trouble. I don't know what it is with Ferrari, but I just know that Fernando Alonso is very fast and very consistent. He has been on the podium every race this year, and I think -165 is a really good price. I really think this track could set up well for him on those long straights. I think he's got the advantage over the Mercedes. And as far as the Ferrari, you just don't know what's going to happen. And so we've seen Sergio Perez run into trouble as well. We've seen reliability issues with Red Bull, but Fernando Alonso has really been racing well. Let's just keep riding him to finish on the podium by hook or by crook. He just always seems to get there.
Fernando Alonso reaching the podium there, my man Andy Lang. As we mentioned, check him out and use that promo code TRYWT. Weekend like this is a great weekend to slash 50% off 3-day all access. If it's your first time ever purchasing from us at WagerTalk.com, use that promo code at checkout, TRYWT, and slash that on Andy for the weekend in half. Great deal there. All right, well, we got Andy Lang's thoughts on the UFC event this weekend, so we're going to step aside, and right after this, we're going to get Kyle Anthony's thoughts and shut down the week here on WagerTalk Extra. Welcome on back here to WagerTalk Extra. Excited to bring in my man Kyle Anthony, still rocking as the #1 MMA capper over the last 3 years. So when he talks UFC, you damn best be listening, Kyle. Always love having you on because you get us the fight that everybody wants to know about, and you give us some actionable information in it. It's Simone and Yadong. It's the main event, and Kyle Anthony's got a lean or a best bet on this one. What are we thinking, Kyle?
Hey, this is going to be a big one here. These guys were supposed to fight last week. We're getting a main event 5-round fight here. Now, you're looking at it Ricky Simón minus 125 on the comeback here. Song Yadong plus 105. Now, this is a spot here where they both have a preferred path to victory. You got Song Yadong, who's going to be looking for the big power, the volume, moving forward. And then on the other side, Ricky Simón, he's going to look for the wrestling. He's going to look for these takedowns and get the control time. Now, the one thing that Ricky Simón does is he will stick to the game plan. He will look to push for the takedowns. He averages 5.5 takedowns over 15 minutes. That is really, really high. He will stick to that game plan. He will look to shoot. On the other side of it, he's winning 90% of the control time that he is involved in. So not only is he getting these takedowns, he's winning the control time. He's having the opportunity to positionally win, and he's relentless with these takedowns. He's going to push for them, and that's really twofold against Song Yadong, where he is vulnerable to takedowns. He can be taken down. He's been taken down by multiple past opponents, and he can bounce up. But the other part of it is that he can slow down as the fight goes. Ricky Simón has a big gas tank. He will have the fuel to keep pushing for these takedowns, keep looking for them. That's going to be his path overall. And taking Song Yadong to deep water is going to be very important. Early in that fight, there's going to be big shots coming his way, but the other part of it is Ricky has really been elevating his own striking. He's been improving it on his own. So he has the wrestling, he has the striking, and I think the way in which both of these guys fight could help Ricky Simón. They both are aggressive, they both will crash forward, they both will have big shots, and the thing with Ricky is he disguises his takedowns really, really well. He will bully forward, and as it looks like you're just going to exchange, he will level change and get these takedowns. That, to me, against a very aggressive fighter like Song Yadong, will open up opportunities for him. And even if you look at paths to victory, I mean, you're going to have the wrestling. He can get some takedowns, positionally win. He can have the submission. He can look to get the submission victory. He can win the rounds. He can knock him out. While I only think Song Yadong has the opportunity to get that early knockout, he can definitely carry his power a little bit later, but I don't think that that's going to be the way for him to go out there and win rounds against Ricky Simón if it goes that far. And lastly is a very important stat that I think is very important here, where Song Yadong is 2-2-1 in the UFC when opponents attempt 3 or more takedowns. He's 6-0 when opponents attempt 2 or fewer takedowns. Ricky Simón is probably going to shoot more than 3 times in the first round. So, and even that one draw that Simón had, that was probably should have been a loss. So I really like Ricky Simón here. I think the path is there for him. I think the opportunity is there for them. At this price, nearly a pick 'em, minus 125. I like Ricky Simón to get the job done in the main event.
Man, Kyle, I'm no UFC trainer or anything, but I would just look at that stat and say, no matter what, even if they're not working, attempt 3 takedowns. If you're able to do it, you probably got pretty damn chance.
Shoot.
Yeah, just shoot is the name of the game there. All right, I love the breakdown, and also for this weekend, this is easily accessible card. Don't have to pull any money out of the wallet to check this one out, as it is not a pay-per-view event. It's just one of these UFC fight nights that you're able to get free if you have your ESPN Plus plug-in there. So I'm wondering, before we get to your fight to watch, you have anything that you'll have locked and loaded for this event that would be great for, more casual fans to maybe dip their toes in a bit?
Yeah. So we have a package up right now. And listen, this is just another spot where people are really excited about these big events. They're great. We love them. It's great because they're recognizable names, but there's always opportunity to make money in MMA. It's basically every weekend. Here's another spot where I do like it. Have a best bet up right now. Great spot. And I think it's a really, really strong position. Excited to see, and let's keep it going.
Absolutely. And let's keep it going right here with your fight to watch. I don't think I could pronounce either of these guys' names. So I'm just going to say, what the hell is it, Kyle, and what are we betting?
So
my
fight to watch here is going to be Caio Borralho. He's minus 375 versus Michal Olesiejczuk plus 290. Now, this is a spot here where it is going to be a grappler versus striker matchup here. You've got Olesiejczuk. He's going to be looking for the power, moving forward, the big puncher. And the other side here, Caio, he's going to be the grappler. Now, he's 3-0 in the UFC. He has found success with these takedowns, getting that control time, finding opportunity to win. He's a black belt in jiu-jitsu, has those credentials. And I think in the clinch here is going to be very important for Caio. I think that he has that power. He has that advantage. Olesiejczuk coming down in weight from light heavyweight, now at middleweight. And this is a spot here where he was very undersized. Now I feel it could be a little bit better of a spot for him, which is maybe why Olesiejczuk was being taken down and being bullied around so much in those other spots. But with that being said, this is a tough matchup for Olesiejczuk because, again, he's been susceptible to being taken down. He's been controlled. He has 5 losses. 3 are by submission. 2 of those losses were in the light heavyweight division against Jimmy Crute and OSP, so I get that. But since he's moved to middleweight, he's 2-0. He's looked a little bit better, and I think it could be a possibility for him. Now, you're looking at Caio here. He's minus 375. But there are a big red flag when it comes to his grappling and his fight against Mahmoud Muradov. Mahmoud Muradov is a guy who is a striker. He does not look good on the ground normally. He looks lost. And in this spot, he was out grappling Caio. Caio has ability, and Muradov took him down. Had it where you had Muradov, he looked like he was keeping that top control, and then all of a sudden Caio had it, he got back and ended up getting the top control. So there was a lot of scrambling where this guy should not be able to do that, and Caio was making mass amounts of mistakes, big issues throughout the fight overall, and I think that's really where this fight could possibly have some legs with Muradov, and I'm sorry, with Olesiejczuk, where Olesiejczuk's gonna have the power, he's gonna have the ability to have the speed, and I think that's gonna help him as well too, kind of taking care of some of that, and he could win some early parts of the round. Caio, I think, will come back and start to get some takedowns, start to get that control time, and then from there, I think he could win some rounds. But if you're looking at it, Caio is not a finisher. He has, in his last 7 wins, 6 have come by decision. So this is a spot where, hey, listen, I'm not in the business of giving out minus 400s. I'm looking for value here, and this is a spot where I think Caio, via points, is plus 275. I think that's his most likely path. He's not a finisher, and I think that Olesiejczuk will make it scrappy and get this thing to have some legs. So I do like Caio Borralho via points plus 275.
Way to find a huge favorite and turn it into a plus money play. Kyle does it better than anybody out there. He also earns profit like nobody out there. Last 3 years, how about over 105 units of profit for his clients? Check him out, wt.buzz/KA. And that does it. Another week done here. How did it come so quickly already here for WagerTalk Extra? Big thanks to Kyle Anthony. Big thanks to Andy Lang and Eric, my producer, doing a terrific job behind the scenes. Best of luck this weekend, and we'll be locked and loaded with another 3-pack right here on WagerTalk Extra next week.